Hello friends, welcome in Input by using Inputstream class in Java. So first of all, we are going to discuss the step 1. In the step 1, as we know that there are many ways to do the input in Java, so buffer reader and input reader is one of them. When the user is input anything from the keyboard, so we are using for that system.in. Okay, so in the first step, user will enter anything from the keyboard, and then in the second step, the particular thing which is entered by the user through the Inputstream class in the form of string, it will enter in the BufferedReader class. Okay, then the next step is that the particular data that entered by the user in the form of string or characters, it will be entered through the input class to the BufferedReader class, right? So if you are not understanding, so through the examples I'm trying to explain it. First of all, for example, the keyboard, the data entered by the user through the system.in. So now the particular data is entered because of the Inputstream class, Inputstreamreader class. Okay, the object of that particular class help to the system.in to enter that data. Through the Inputstreamreader class, we have entered the data. Now in the form of string or character, the data enter in the BufferedReader class. Okay, buffer means it is a temporary storage. Okay, so in the buffer it has stored. Now the particular buffer in the form of character, now we can use that particular input in our program, right? So for example, again, see here the system.in, so it is connected to the Inputstreamreader class, right? So now Inputstreamreader class send that particular data in BufferedReader class. First of all, user will enter anything through the system.in. So now that system.in, we suppose enter 1 2 3. So now that system.in is connected with what? Inputstreamreader class. So now that Inputstreamreader class, that it will send the data to the BufferedReader class. Okay, so here it represents the keyboard. To read data from the keyboard, it should be connected to the Inputstreamreader class. So what's the meaning of Inputstreamreader? It reads data from the keyboard and send the data to the BufferedReader class. BufferedReader class, it reads the data from the Inputstreamreader and stores the data in BufferedReader. It has got methods so that data can be easily accessed. For example, we are using this type of syntax in our program. First of all, suppose we want to take the input. So if we are declaring that the BufferedReader class, so here in argument it will ask you to the function, the object of the Inputstreamreader class. So first of all, we have to declare their Inputstreamreader class. So after declaring it, we have to declare here the object of the Inputstreamreader class. So here we are using here system.in. User will enter something through the keyboard, so that thing will be enter here in read. That is the object of the Inputstreamreader class. After that, we are using here BufferedReader class. See, after that we are using here BufferedReader class. We are using here BufferedReader class. So now see the read, this is the method, this is the object of the Inputstreamreader class. So now that method we are passing to the BufferedReader class as an argument. Okay, when we will use BufferedReader class and here we are declaring the object of BufferedReader class, then as an argument it will ask you to the Inputstreamreader class object, the thing which is entered by the user. This statement creates an object of Inputstream type, say for example read, to accumulate streamlined bit pattern from the input device, any input device. We are taking here the example of keyboard. So now the buffer reader class, the definition for the writing, this statement creates an object in, this is in object, that is the buffer reader class object. Okay, so here that will store the data, the input data, as it temporarily buffer. If we are talking about buffer memory, so we know that the buffer memory is temporary memory. So now when we are accepting the input for the data types, okay, so see here we have declared buffer reader. Here in is the object of the buffer reader class, and read, it is the object of Inputstreamreader class. User entered something through the input system.in. So now that data will be stored where? In read. Okay, so now that data needs a memory for doing the further work. So now that read function will be passed to the buffer reader class. So now that particular data is passed to the basically to the in object, right? In means it is the function name of buffer reader class. Suppose user want to enter the data of integer type. So now here integer a we have declared. So this is the syntax. First of all we have to put there integer for the integer type of data, then dot parse int, and then in dot read line. See the read line function we are taking, that the particular data from data we are using here in is a buffer reader class. Okay, through that buffer reader class object we are accepting the input from the keyboard. Okay, that will become in the form of string, right? Read line function that will take the input in the form of string or character. So now suppose you enter here 45. Okay, you entered through from the keyboard 45. So now you have written here read line, so that will become with the form of string, right? That will be entered through the form of string. Now here we are using parse int. The use of this function is that the data which you enter in the form of string, that will be again convert in the particular format. Suppose we are using here integer, so that string 45 will be converted into the integer 45. The same as if you are using their float, a equals to float dot parse float. This is the format. In is a buffer reader class object read line. So suppose user enter 4.6, user entered there suppose 4.6. now that this is the form of string only, right? This is in the form of string only. So now see if we are using here parse float, so that in the form of string it will be converted through the parse dot in the form of in float form, right? So as well as in the double also it's same. See when we are using character and string we need not any type of parse function. Okay, so as we know that the buffer reader class object, it is taking input as a string or character. So here we are using int in read. So we need to just convert that string into character only. We need not a parse function here. So in the string it is simple read line. So what's the meaning of read and read line? Read is just for taking the input as a one character. Okay, one character means suppose 5 is there, so it will take 5 only. Suppose b is there, so for the single character we are using read. So but if the user is using as a string, suppose we are using lkh, okay, so that is what string in the double quote. So here we need not any type of parse, right? We need not any type of parse double ints as anything, because we are already using string, and the data which is entered through the keyboard, that is also in the form of string only. Main point we are using here, if you are using Inputstreamreader buffer reader class, then the main point is if you want to declare, if you want to use the as a input buffer reader or input reader class, so we have to import there the package. That package name is input output package, io package. We are using the import java.io package. Okay, so we have to declare here io package. So this is also important thing, that before using we have to use their io input output package. Okay, so I hope you understood this input stream class. Thank you very much.